This goes out to all the women in the world, especially her. You know it don't even matter your age, don't even matter your color. Yo, fellas, I ain't forget about y'all. This is for everybody that like to dance. Just listen to what I'm saying and do it and take a chance. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll it grind. Just get on the floor like I said before. Y'all remember that down low? Just put a little dip with it. Now roll those hips with it. Pop it, push it, rock it, roll it. Can't control it, I come hold it. It's all in fun, so take a chance. Just get on the floor and do that dance, y'all. I know you like it, so don't try to fight it. Turn around, baby, let me see you from the back. Yeah, I like it like that. Get up now, roll those hips. Drop down, double up on those dips. Freak nasty, wanna see, can y'all do this right? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind. Back again with the second verse. It's all clean, so I'm not gonna curse. Dropping bass like a bad habit. Love all women, cause I gotta have it. Coming at y'all in stereo. I'm riding that thing like a rodeo. Hang on, baby, cause the ride is rough, and I got my girls in the front. Now and later, just bumping that rump. Raise it up, let me see that ground. Slap it, girl, make it jiggle around. Round and round that rump goes. Where it stop, yo, no one knows, yeah. Freak nasty, wanna see, can y'all do this right? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind.
Well, all right, y'all. All right, y'all. If you ain't dipping, you must be tripping. If you ain't doing it down low, you got to go. So the people that moving slow, just moving slow. Yo, DJ, pump it up some more.
It's off to the show in a limo. Before the show, I gotta get that dough. Pay them girls what they worth. Slip that money under that skirt. Take it off, baby, let me see. You might get a little more Lucci. G-string, having oh so much fun. Playing inside between them buns. Shorty got it going on like Marvin. Teasing me and she know I'm starving. Lick you up, then lick you down. I ain't finished, girl, turn around. Lick you up and down your back, cause I'm that freak, I'm freaky like that. Freak nasty, wanna see, can y'all do this right? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind. I'm setting it off to another level. You digging freak nasty without a shovel? This is my world. I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut. So what's up, yo DJ? When the party's getting slow, join this jam and watch that flow get taken over like in '94. When I had the whole world getting down low. New Orleans born, ATL living. Freak nasty is what I'm giving. My juice is sweet like Georgia peaches. Women suck it up like leeches. It feels so good, you must admit you like this. Shh. Yeah, y'all know the song. So come on, won't you sing it? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip.
Why you get
Okay,
fried,
yes,
man?
fine. Are you crazy?
You fucking paranoid,
You are
man.
fucking, you are fucking.
You fucking, you bloody.
You bloody.
Fuck you, bloody. Bastard, bitch.
You
fuck you,
bastard,
fuck
you.
you. Bloody, fuck you, bloody. Fucking mother, bloody, fuck, bitch.
All right, chat. How we doing? How's everybody doing? How's the audio sound? I had to fuck with the settings to get it to work. So who knows? Did it sound better? Worse? Just as shitty as always? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. And I will promptly ignore it and probably do the opposite of what you say. Oh my gosh. Chat says, have you been following the wildfires out in Southern California? I mean, I haven't, but it's like, doesn't that happen all the time in Southern California? Isn't that like one of their 4 seasons? You know, they have fires, then mudslides, then summer, then riots. I think that's their 4 seasons out there. I've been following the fact that it's cold as fuck here. It's like, right now it's probably in the teens. All day it was in the 20s. Fucking snowed a few days ago. It just, and like, it just blows across fields and like the roads are plowed and then the snow drifts across it and it's not plowed anymore. It fucking sucks. We're supposed to get more snow on Saturday. A whole bunch more snow, possibly. It's a good thing I'm an unemployed bum right now and I have nowhere to fucking be. By the way, I need super chats. I need super chats, chat. Lots of super chats. Send them shekels, please. Send the Apple gift cards to Haji at thebedglov.com. How many inches fell already? I think we got like maybe 3 or 4. Is Rechelov ready to start invading Greenland and Canada? I don't know about that. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's all shit talk, but who knows? It's fucking crazy times we live in. Send Twizzlers. I'm afraid I can send no more Twizzlers. I'm afraid I can't do that. My connections to the Indians that make Twizzlers have been severed. Oh man. So because of Vivek's, I've been sort of fixating on Vivek's stupid like Saved by the Bell, Boy Meets World, Steve Urkel fucking comment from Christmas. He did that shit on Christmas. And it's actually got me like going down a rabbit hole, and then of course the algorithm feeds into that. And there was a lot of stuff like I remembered, but like forgot. First of all, Boy Meets World is actually worth watching to this day. Even as an adult, I've gone back and watched Boy Meets World, and it's actually good. The rest of those, I don't know if I could recommend it if you weren't if you're not a kid. I don't know that you're going to get a lot out of the rest of them kind of shows, but Steve Urkel was so popular for a while there that he would just appear in other shows. Sometimes explained, sometimes not. Like, at one point in Family Matters, Steve Urkel builds a jetpack. And this is how stupid this show was. Steve Urkel builds a jetpack so in gym class he can get to the top of the rope faster than the jocks. Because I guess the gym teacher doesn't disqualify the jetpack. I mean, by that logic, you could have just brought a ladder. But anyways, he uses the jetpack to get up to the top of the rope faster than the jock. And at the end of the episode, the jetpack malfunctions and flies him off into the ether. And then the next show on that night was Step by Step. And Steve Urkel fucking crashes in Patrick Dempsey and fucking Susan Summers' home in their backyard. And he's just in this episode of Step by Step now. He was in an episode of Full House, too. I don't remember how he got to that one. I don't think a jetpack was involved. He might have just taken a bus. I don't know. But he was just hanging out with the Tanners. Everybody loves Steve Urkel. I don't know where Vivek's getting this. People hated him. Steve Urkel went to the Step by Step show and dated one of the daughters. He went to the dance with one of the daughters. Everybody loved him. We used to just have weird crossovers on TV like that for no fucking reason. During Hurricane Andrew, there were like 4 shows on Saturday night on NBC. One of them was Golden Girls, and the other were just, I don't remember what the fuck they were called. They were just other shows that no one remembers to this day. But all 4 of them took place in Florida, and all 4 of them had Hurricane Andrew that night. And there were little things where they existed in the same world. Like, Friends, Mad About You, and ER all canonically exist in the same world. Ally McBeal and The Practice exist in the same world. They had a big crossover night. And then they weren't even on the same fucking channel. Empty Nest was the other show. Yeah, and I want to say there was like an ER show called like Nurses. want to say. And there was probably another one because I think it was like half-an-hour shows, so it was probably another one in there, like, because primetime used to be like 2 hours when traditional network TV was still a thing. Primetime was 8 to 10. Sometimes some of the edgier cop or doctor dramas would be on at 10, but generally 10 is when like news shit started. Somebody's putting libertarian erotica in my chat. Thank you very much for that, Eldridge fan. I'm not sure if I'm gonna read that. Jesus. Yeah, empty nest was. Why do you know that, Ninja Master? I'm amazed I remember this shit. I was a little ass kid at the time. I don't remember why I didn't really watch Golden Girls. I was like 9. I just kind of knew of it. We didn't have that many channels back then. Even with cable, we didn't have that many channels back then, all right? There were 4 network channels when I was a kid. Fox first came on the air when I was very, very young. Like 88, 87, 88, something like that. When I was like 4 or 5. So I don't really remember a reality before Fox. UPN didn't come about till like 94. And the WB, I think, like a couple years after that. They ended up collapsing into the CW. But there wouldn't have been, even cable, man. Like when we finally got a cable package, like looking back, there was like 40 channels, if that. Probably like 30, because a lot of them we didn't have. But I'd scroll up to like, by the time you're into the 40s number wise, you're about hitting the wall of where the channels end. So even with cable, I remember satellite when I was a kid was the big deal. That was the one that had like hundreds of channels, and you'd be able to get all the different local affiliates for different channels. I remember hanging out with my cousin, God rest his soul, who lived up here in PA. He had 2 different NBCs and CBSs and a bunch of networks because he was like kind of right between getting Harrisburg and Philly channels. Yeah, Fox came around in 87, but Fox was big, man. Fox immediately came out of the gates and had some hits, man. Married with Children was a big fucking deal. Fox wasn't around more in a couple of years. I mean, originally Fox had the Tracy Ullman Show, which had the Simpsons shorts, but it was like 2 years into Fox's run, they had the Simpsons, and that was like an immediate fire fucking hit, man. You know, it's hard to imagine for probably Zoomers and maybe even young millennials. You know, if you don't remember, if you're not old enough to remember the Super Nintendo, let alone the NES, then you're not old enough to remember a time that The Simpsons was the coolest fucking thing in the world. Like, it was at its peak, in its golden age. It was at that point, I would argue, the greatest show that had ever been on television. Certainly the greatest comedy that had ever been on television. So he said, don't forget the Ted Turner channels. That was the segue to cable. I had an odd one where I lived. I had Paramount 20. Now, I got all the DC stations because I grew up in Southern Maryland. So UPN wasn't a big deal to me. UPN was just Paramount 20 changing its name. Like, I already had a Paramount channel. And it already had, like, Star Trek and shit like that on it. I remember UPN was, like, crazy black when it first came out. Like, no, the dramas weren't black. There were, like, drama shows and, like, action shows that, some of which featured TNG alumni. Like, weird sci-fi even shows. I remember there was a show with, like, video games. This guy made a video game, and all the characters came to life and were trying to kill him. and the one character, the main bad guy, was played by Christopher Lloyd. And they were like trying to kidnap his now ex-girlfriend who had broken up with him while he was developing his video game. And like Christopher Lloyd walks out of the video game and he's like, well, if it isn't whoever this guy is, I don't know, as I live and breathe, which son of a bitch I'm doing, aren't I? Like they just all came to life. Oh God, what was that called? I love that show, but like I was like 12. So I mean, I'm not gonna argue that show holds up. It got canceled after one season, and probably for good reason. But I thought it was cool as fuck. And then it turned out like, cause all the characters from the game were based on people he knew from real life that he didn't like. Like there was an evil witch from the game, but it was like his girlfriend's mother. It looked just like his girlfriend's mother. And we come to find out later in the episode, Christopher Lloyd's character was based on his dad. Did he hate it? That's right. It was his. Chat's even saying it was his father. And then there's an episode where like there's a villain that doesn't work for Christopher Lloyd. It's played by Data, played by Brent Spiner, and Christopher Lloyd's like shown up to the guy, and the guy's all like, "What are you gonna fuck with me now?" He goes, "Oh, I'm not supposed to do anything to you this week. I don't know why." And then the Data was like a trickster villain. And it was based on some guy that used to prank him at a last year. The guy was like a real loser. Just no wonder his video game never made off. It was just nothing but all the people that were mean to him once. I want to say it was called Deadly Games. Without looking it up, I want to say it was called Deadly Games. Christopher Lloyd's character was named Jackal. Because remember, he had to keep saving his ex-girlfriend from these horrible monsters from the video game, but she didn't want to be with him anymore. But I guess the show was going to go towards he was going to win her back by saving her from these terrible things that he created. I don't remember why they came to life. I think it was just some dumb thing like lightning struck his fucking computer or something. Some weird science level nonsense, which also was a great show. I'd like to find Weird Science on streaming again. God, man, Kelly was so hot in that fuck. Was her name Kelly? What was the girl's name? Was it Jeannie? It wasn't Jeannie, I don't think. Kelly LeBrock played her in the movie. But it was, I can't remember her name. But I thought the chick in the show was actually, she was much prettier. She maybe didn't have as great a body, but she's much prettier. Yeah, Deadly Games ruled. But all the comedies on UPN were black. There was a space comedy, too, that was black. It was like a parody of, like, Star Trek and Star Wars kind of shit. And it was Homeboys in Space. That's what it was. UPN sitcoms were fucking something, man. Oh. God, I miss when television was worth a damn. I feel like even the shittiest shows from back then, and maybe it's just the youth. I understand nostalgia's a thing, but I feel like I'd rather watch the shittiest shows from the 90s than half of what they make now. I just watched a bunch of The Critic the other day. I think on Tubi, of all fucking places. I'm sure it's on other things. It's probably on Hulu or some shit. But, like, The Critic ruled. Only 2 seasons of that shit, too. But it ruled. In, like, his second season, he had some... there was some Southern chick that was his assistant and then turned into his girlfriend. And she was voiced... I don't remember what voice actor, but I think it was somebody that played Southern chicks in cartoons all the fucking time. I think she was even the fucking rabbit in the old Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon. I never really watched the Highlander or Beastmaster shows. I can't say I ever really watched them. I watched Hercules and Xena a fucking shitload. I watched Weird Science. I watched Duckman. His boss Duke that was based... Yeah, in The Critic, his boss that was based on Ted Turner was so transparently based on Ted Turner. It was actually a cooler version of Ted Turner, really. Duke was actually way cooler than Ted. Duke was what Ted Turner pretended to be in public. Like, Ted Turner loved it. Ted Turner was a giant fucking, just gaping big wet vagina, and always was. But Ted Turner loved to pretend he was a big cowboy from Georgia or whatever. And Ted Turner tried to pretend like he was Duke from The Critic. How about Transformers Beast Wars? I never watched that. I never got into Reboot either for the same reason. Early CG animation was dog shit. Now you got to remember also, like, by the time Beast Wars comes out, I'm like not really a kid anymore. I still watch cartoons because I never really fucking stopped, if you want to be honest with yourself. But Beast Wars came out, I want to say, in like 96. And I would have been like 13, maybe 94 at the earliest, and I'd have been like 11. It's kind of the same with like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Like, I was young enough that I still watched it from time to time. I never got super into it, but I never had like toys or anything for it like that. So remember how bad cable was after 12 a.m.? More than half the channels were infomercials. Yeah, but you could find the wildest shit on cable late night, man. Back in the day, I was on Eldritch, or not chat, I mean, mistake, because Eldritch fans all over my chat there. I was on Dashing Rogues channel last night, and we were talking about a cartoon, or not a cartoon, a movie. It was sort of also a cartoon. A movie called Evil Toons. And in the movie Evil Toons, the chicks are playing with, like, these sorority chicks are playing with, like, the Necronomicon or some dumb shit like that. And they summon a demon who's like a little cartoon Tasmanian devil looking motherfucker. And he, like, rapes one of the chicks, and then he, like, disappears into her pussy and possesses her. And then she, like, does all kinds of hot lesbian stuff and kills people throughout the length of this movie. It's a terrible fucking movie. But back in the day, man, that you taped, I remember taping that shit when I was in, like, middle school. It was like, hot damn. I stumbled onto that one night, and I was like, this is amazing. And the next time I saw it on, I taped it. Because it was on one of those channels where, like, they show everything except, like, there'd be little black dots over the nipple or a little black dot over the vag. Because I think this movie had full frontal, if I remember. And that was it. Other than that, they're like, everything else goes. Fuck it. Why not? Those were the fucking days, man. Hell, even into the early 2000s, I know this country died after 9/11, but there was still some momentum. We were still coasting on some momentum there. Like, the engine had died, but we were going 90 when the engine died, so we still had some fucking momentum. Even into the early 2000s, man, you could find a cool shit. From like late high school into my early 20s, I was addicted to Adult Swim. I was basically one of them guys that relentlessly watched Family Guy and brought it back from the dead. Yes, HBO and Cinemax had a lot of softcore stuff in the middle of the night. I do remember La Femme Nikita. I didn't really watch it much, but I do kind of remember it. See, this was pre-internet days. Y'all Zoomers, you don't understand. See, Zoomers are like... Zoomers are so weird because they're all porn addicted. But they're afraid of a love scene in a movie. You know what I mean? They're afraid of... Like, they're all like, why did Oppenheimer have him fucking a chick? Because Oppenheimer was a notorious womanizer. That's why. So it says Space Ghost Coast to Ghost was on 30 years ago. I do vaguely remember that. So it said, you're the thanks/blame for Family Guy returning. I will defend Family Guy, man. Even modern fucking Family Guy is still pretty funny. Like, yeah, I understand the show is, like, evolved or /devolved into something much different. Like, everything's way cynical about it now. None of the characters have any heart. Everybody hates everybody. And part of that's because Seth MacFarlane doesn't want to do that show anymore. But it's still funny. The gags still make me laugh. I mean, that's more than I could say for The Simpsons. Like, The Simpsons lost its heart and its edge. Like, modern Simpsons is trash. It's just trash. Like, there's not... Watch a whole fucking season, you're lucky to get a chuckle out of it. There was a show, War of the Worlds series, that was really hardcore. I don't believe they could pull that stuff, that gross on TV. There's clips on YouTube about the Extreme War. I don't really remember that one. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that. So he says up to season 10, Simpsons, but beyond that shit. There's still a little bit shortly after that. You got to understand, The Simpsons was riding so high at its peak that I would say it started going downhill around season maybe 8. But it had a long way to go down before it got bad. I mean, Simpsons was probably still at least watchable by even in like 2002, 3, or 4. You know? It was mostly dead when the movie came out. That was sort of its last gasp because the movie is good. But man, by the time you get to like 08 or 09, it's just dead. It's unwatchable now. I actually remember, I want to say it was like 2009, 2010. I think it was 2009 because I think it was right around the time I got Super Mario Wii, New Super Mario Bros. Wii. But I remember putting on The Simpsons Sunday night, and I hadn't watched it in years at that point. And it starts off with like Homer becomes Krusty's assistant somehow. And then he's going to start traveling with Krusty, and Bart's going to just hang out with him. And I thought, oh man, this might be great. Krusty episodes were always great. And some of the best episodes from the Golden Age were like when Homer was just on wacky adventures and Bart was playing sidekick to him. Those were some of the best fucking episodes, right? So like we're a couple minutes in this episode, I'm like, oh man, maybe it was on long enough, it found its groove again. Okay. All right. And then we immediately switched to Lisa-centric episode, which even in the Golden Age was bad. And Lisa's going to go to music camp. And music camp is comprised of kids that are all voiced by the cast of Glee. And this is the main focus of the episode. And I was like, oh, okay. I got like halfway through that before I was like, nah, man, this is... Somebody brings up Marge's voice. Yeah, like half the people on that fucking show are so old now because it's been going on for 30 fucking years. Look, man, a show is not supposed to go on for 30 fucking years, all right? I'm not even going to say that a franchise shouldn't exist that long, okay? Like, I loves me some Cape shit, and Lord knows those things are all between 60 and fucking 100 years old at this point, you know? When I was a kid, I loved me some Scooby-Doo and its various incarnations. Still have a soft spot for it. You know? But, like, Scooby-Doo didn't go on for 40 years. It wasn't just continuous of the same. It would just go away for a while and rest and come back fresh with a new interpretation. It'd be one thing if, like, The Simpsons was on some sort of reinterpreted reboot for the modern era now. That might be one thing. Or if it had gone into spin-offs. You could do spin-offs of that show. Like imagine a Radioactive Man show. You know, with all as big as Cape shit is right now, spoofing that kind of stuff, that'd be awesome. Or Krusty doing some sort of late night show like Space Ghost Coast to Coast style shit. That would be cool. Instead of just beating the death out of this and having 80-year-olds trying to pretend it's the 90s still. That's the other thing. The Simpsons existed in a time. And that's why I said the only way I could imagine it still existing and being worth a damn is if it was rebooted. Because you'd have to retool it. Like, The Simpsons is a time capsule for the late 80s, early 90s. You know? Everybody in Springfield went to church except, fuck it, the Jews and the Hindus. You know, the one Hindu in town, you know? Like, Monty Burns went to church. You know what I mean? Everybody at least pretended to be Christian, because that's what things were back then. You know? Homer was a loser, but he still had a stay-at-home wife and 2 kids on his loser job, because, you know, it was the 90s. Hey, Bedglov, John Dill Arose is a Spider-Man fan. He was going on about a vid how great Spider-Girl books were with May was, how awful One More Day was. JDA is the one doing Fandom Plus. Well, I mean, he's right in those opinions, especially the One More Day one. But JDA is also like a fucking psycho. Like, he's also a shithead in a lot of ways. I'm sorry, I don't have... Look, man, I haven't had a lot of direct interactions with JDA, and he's certainly never gone after me. I don't know if he even knows who the fuck I am. I think he was in my Discord for a while, but promptly fucked off when he realized there was no clout to be gained there. So this ain't like he went after me or anything. This is just me observing his behavior from a distance, and I want nothing to do with him. They said, but writers don't want to change the status quo, just keep things the same, but make things modern. Again, if you would have, like, let that show rest for a while and maybe brought it back with a fresh take or a spin-off or something, that'd be one thing. You know? Or just let the reruns be. Like, just let it stand for what it was, man. She said JDA brags he was blocked by the JMS, the Babylon 5 / One More Day writer. Okay, well, it's not really fair to call JMS the Babylon 5, or the one, yeah, he's the Babylon 5 creator, obviously. It's not fair to call him the One More Day writer. Okay, like, that was a mandate from editorial that he had to write, and was so opposed to it, he nearly took his name off, and he probably should have. Like, One More Day is Joe Quesada's baby. Like, lay that fucking blame where the hell it belongs. JMS is the guy that came in and restored the fucking marriage after, like, John Byrne and Howard Mackey had, like, made Peter and MJ separate for a little while. He was two other fucking hacks that couldn't let go of the 70s. John Byrne's a great fucking artist. No getting around that. He's like, of his writing career, like 10% gold. 90% crap. And the 10% is front loaded early in his fucking career too. Like, don't give me John Byrne after like 1995. But yeah, man, I don't want anything to do with JDA. I'm sorry. Like, I just don't. Like, I don't. That article I got sent that was apparently by him the other day, or it was going after saying Heather Antos worships the devil because of her dumb, cringe, edgelord shit. And it's like, yeah, it's dumb, but like, also IDW is not even doing badly right now. Their fucking Turtle stuff is printing money. And their Sonic stuff isn't doing much worse. And trust me, I have no love for IDW Sonic. All right, I might have loved the Archie book back in the day for the downright achievement in the history of comics it was. But, you know, the most successful licensed comic ever at that point. But IDW Sonic is just a commercial for the games. And let's be real, modern Sonic games are shit, so... You know, I'm reading a commercial for dog shit. That said, though, they sell. They sell like fucking crazy. They make money. I don't know how their Star Trek shit's doing. Star Trek's a brand that's in disarray right now. I like their Star Trek books. You know, their regular just Star Trek is pretty good, and Star Trek Defiance is pretty good. Hell, the Day of Blood shit they did was pretty badass, actually. But I don't know how well they're selling. I don't pay a ton of attention to the sales charts. I know this past year, the top sellers were Ultimate Spider-Man because, contrary to what Marvel thinks, a married Spider-Man sells. And don't say that's hype for the Ultimate Universe, because the rest of the Ultimate books were not in the top 10 for selling books. Only Ultimate Spider-Man issues were. The Absolute Universe over at DC, all 3 of those books are in the top 10 for the year. Now, Batman's number 1, because fucking Batman, of course he is. But Superman and Wonder Woman for the Absolute Universe are doing well. So there's actual hype for the Absolute Universe. There's not really hype for the Ultimate Universe. There's hype for Ultimate Spider-Man right now. And he's dragging those loser books along with him. But a lot of them did not count the fact that TMNT number 1 was the top selling comic book of the year. Now, yeah, it had an obnoxious amount of fucking variant covers. But even when you like divide the numbers by the amount of variant covers, it's still in the fucking top sales. IDW is doing fine. IDW is easily the number 3 comic book company. Damn near times the number 2. So he said, I watched JDA from a distance. He's good at making leftists mad. I guess, but I mean, like, so is Andrew Tate and Nick Fuentes. It doesn't mean I want anything to do with them. And that kind of shit just poisons the well, man. When you're, like, totally dishonest about shit like that, it's poisoning the well. Yeah, I was on Liam's stream a little while ago, and I don't remember whose channel we were watching, but we watched some video where somebody said that, like, Ben Reilly is a furry now. And I'm like, what do you mean? And it's some video where, like, his girlfriend turns into a cat lady in some transformation. It's, like, completely temporary. And he makes some joke about it, reminding him of Thundercats, and he thinks it's sexy. And it's like, okay, it was a throwaway line. You know, and the way this guy's video, he's making it sound like Ben Reilly is a fucking fur affinity account or something. Like, it's just a joke. You don't want people like that on your fucking side, man. Like, that shit poisons the well. Like, there's no other way to describe it. Like, Nick Fuentes is out there. Nick Fuentes is paid by whoever actually funds him. I don't know exactly. Maybe it's a fucking spook 3-letter agency. I don't know. It's probably some old guard fucking conservatives, like some Koch brothers motherfuckers. You know, the kind of people that fund Charlie Kirk. You know, they fund Nick Fuentes to make the Charlie Kirks look better. So says, when I want to watch superhero movies these days, it's usually foreign or indie stuff like in Gundala or Dark Mutants. I don't know what either one of those. Guardians, the knockoff Russian Avengers, I have seen that. That one's not bad for what it is. I don't know, man. I don't have much interest in any of the shows like that. That new Spider-Man cartoon looks like ass. Even before the obnoxious race swap with, like, Norman and Harry Osborn and make him black. And also, Harry looks gay for some fucking reason. I don't even think he's supposed to be gay. He just looks like a fag for some reason. He looks like if you hated gay people, how you would draw a gay person. That's how the fuck Harry Osborn looks. Like, no wonder Norman hates his kid. And also, Spider-Man's costume looks like ass. And that cartoon looks like it's very obviously 3D animation that they cel shade it to try it and look 2D, but it looks soulless and bullshit. But no, man, I just read comics. I don't give a fuck about that. Most movies anymore. It's the last movie I saw. Fuck, man, I don't even remember. I know I saw Beetlejuice. I know I saw Red 1 because one of you paid for that. I saw the Lord of the Rings cartoon movie, which was not good. I wouldn't even say it was not good because it was a girl boss. It was just not good. I wouldn't even say she's a girl boss. She didn't do anything in the fucking movie. Not really. I was waiting for her to do. I wanted a badass redhead with a sword to fuck shit up. I didn't get it. That might have been the last fucking movie I saw. I don't know. Go to the movie so fucking rarely, man. And that was more just because, like, there was a Lord of the Rings movie coming out, and I just want to take a buddy of mine just to hang out. Because he's a huge Lord of the Rings guy. I'm something of a homophobe myself. Black Norman Osborn. Yeah. I don't even know if he's supposed to be gay. He just looks fucking gay. If they did make him gay, that unless they really play up his dad like treating him like shit because he's gay, then there's really no point in that change because you take away all the Peter and Harry fighting over girl stuff, like, you know. Like Harry's mad because MJ left him for Peter kind of shit. It looks like shit, though. God, the costume looks so fucking bad. Animation looks like shit. Just everything about it looks like ass. I don't think it's going to do well, too. Like, look, man, that shit was never popular. But now of all fucking times is not the time you want to make shit look gay and woke. Like, you talk about hopping on a trend too fucking late. You're the guy buying Pogs in 1998. Like, it's over. It's done.
Have you heard of Jesus?
Thomas Crown donated $6. Well, thank you very much for that. No message, but thank you very much for that. Appreciate it, especially right now. What if they made Peter gay, too? There you go. Peter and Harry would just be butt-fucking each other. Great. Fantastic. I'll pass, though. Thank you. God, you could fix the Spider-Man franchise, like, instantly. Like, you didn't even have to get rid of Miles. Like, he sucks. I get it. But, like, fine. I guess if it's selling. I don't think it is. But whatever, man. Have your stupid fucking diversity points with Miles hanging around, being annoying. But just undo one more day. Alright? And next time you want to do a Spider-Man adaptation, make him a fucking man again and watch that shit do well. The most successful Spider-Man adaptation is still, to this day, the 90s cartoon. Even more so than the Raimi movies. And even the Raimi movies. He's in high school for like 20 minutes in the beginning of the first movie, and then we move on and he's an adult. Chat says there's a good Japanese movie, Nightmare Detective on Tubi. It's about a bad guy who goes into people's dreams and makes them unalive themselves, and a hot detective chick finds a psychic detective and go into dream world to catch her. That doesn't sound too bad. I don't know, though. I mean, I'm not big on Japanese movies. I hate to say this, but it honestly, and even more so with Korean movies, but I honestly lose track of the fucking characters because they all look like I'm sorry to disrespect glorious Nippon here, all the weebs coming out for me and all, but they do. And look, I've watched a lot of kaiju movies in the last few years because I got into that genre. And that pops up a lot where I'm mixing characters the fuck up. All right? Thomas Crown says, I haven't been in a comic store in 20 plus years, though you have me interested in going and at least seeing what's going on out there. I don't know if there would be any classic character books that are actually written for adults with good artwork, though. I'll suggest Ultimate Spider-Man. Now, Ultimate Spider-Man is a universe that is... It's an alternate universe, obviously. And unlike the Ultimate Spider-Man of 20 years ago, where it was supposed to be, the same core story, but different, just update it. This is a very remixed Spider-Man universe. Like, he becomes Spider-Man as an adult. in this universe, this force called the Maker stopped all the heroes from becoming heroes with some MacGuffin horse shit. Who cares? And Tony Stark is out there secretly trying to give everybody the powers they were supposed to have. So he becomes Spider-Man as an adult. He's married to Mary Jane. He has kids. And it's just great to see Spider-Man as a man again. The Absolute books over at DC are really good for, again, they're not meant to be the main universe. They're very remixed and different. It's supposed to be a much darker, more hopeless kind of universe, the Absolute universe, but you know, it was basically created with Darkseid unalived himself. So it's got Darkseid energy running all through it. It's a more hopeless place. But those three books are great. Superman, the Absolute Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. I would suggest any of those. And for right now, if you like DC characters, DC is pretty good right now if you ignore Harley Quinn slop. If you avoid things with Harley Quinn in it, which is actually not that much. She's in her own book, mostly. She's not even in the regular Batman book. She's just in her own books, just sucking and being terrible. But if you avoid that crap, the DC books are pretty good right now. Justice League Unlimited is fucking fire. Superman is fire, just regular Superman, not Action Comics. I've heard good things about Action Comics, haven't been following it. But there's a question book even that's fucking great. Yeah, dude, DC books are fucking awesome right now. I'm enjoying quite a few of them. Yeah, there's good shit out there, man. And the Turtles are fucking great, man. It's a fucking fantastic time to be a Ninja Turtle fan. IDW is doing great stuff with that. If you have any love for the Turtles, I'd suggest checking out Last Ronin. And then I'd suggest checking out the IDW run from beginning to end. You know, they're actually collected in really nice hardcovers that collect like 30 fucking issues a piece. And like including tie-in miniseries and stuff like that, all in reading order. They even had the 2 Ghostbusters crossovers because they're actual important canon. The Retchloff doesn't appreciate the beautiful flowers of the East. Not generally, I'm afraid to tell you. Although I will say, the 90s Gamera trilogy, which is awesome, by the way. And it's so weird because almost all other Gamera movies are dog shit. Like, the very first one from the 50s is okay for a 50s movie. But the 90s Gamera trilogy, the chick that's like the fucking priestess of Gamera or something, she can get it. She can fucking get it. At least I want to say so. I believe she's an adult. It's hard to tell with those people. But I'm pretty sure she's meant to be an adult. But she can get it. Others fans said, I made it like a bandit this Christmas. I got a handheld console loaded up with thousands of retro games and played Metroid Fusion for the first time. Metroid Fusion's really good. I like Zero Mission a little bit more, but Metroid Fusion's really good. Clary got me that big fucking Pac-Man arcade machine. I still gotta put that. I gotta go ahead and set that up. The problem is, I kind of haven't taken down the Christmas tree yet. And it's sort of gonna go where the Christmas tree is. Okay, so apparently, you want me to look at the Nightmare Detective trailer? All right, let's see if we can bring this up. I should make you super chat since you're making me watch video, but whatever, man. Who cares? Apparently, there's a Nightmare Detective too. But Nightmare Detective. Let's see. Okay. This has the English subs, and I'm a sub guy. Well, in more ways than one. But, yeah, compared to dubs. All right, let's see if we can bring this up. All right, so we're going to watch the trailer for Nightmare Detective.
全部意味ないじゃないですか。人はいずれ死にます。
Wait, are we talking about... I'm sorry. We talking about her, Eldritch? I mean, not bad, I gotta say. I wonder if she's got some Caucasian hair, because we got some round eye situation going on here. So, but, yeah, that's not bad.
鍵も閉まったままだということですから自殺の可能性が高いです。
電話してるみたいです。
同じ人間です。
何があるか分からんし、手をこれ習ううちに。
I should be providing commentary, but honestly, I'm kind of interested in the trailer. So I'm just pausing it so it's transformative. Look, I'm providing commentary, YouTube. Leave me alone, please. Please don't copyright strike me. I'm advertising your movie. Leave me alone, whoever owns this movie. Okay, when do we get to the freaky dream?
何のために。俺と一緒に遊ぼうぜ。
Well, that does look kind of cool. I might actually watch that. How do you I guess you have to kill the bad guy, though, because you can't... How are you going to arrest somebody for that? I'm no expert on Japanese law, but, I mean, there's no laws against the Pokemon, Batman. I really don't think... Like, what are you charging me with? I made someone kill themselves? How? Well, you did it in your dreams. Prove that in a court of law. I'm not even sure it's illegal if you can prove it in a court of law. There's no fucking precedent for it. So yeah, I think you'd just have to kill that guy. I don't know. You don't really... You wouldn't have any real ability to press charges on that. I don't think so. You'd have to just fudge evidence to make it look like he physically did it. That trailer does look good. I'll grant you that. Should have made you super chat me to watch it, though. Because I am a whore, and I need the money. Yeah, I'm not working right now, you know. I'm an unemployed bum. So that's why I come on here to tell you how society should be structured. How the world should be fucking run. Oh, man. Well, fuck, I don't know. I might wrap it up. We've gone on almost an hour. I didn't even play a bunch of music at the beginning, so... Fuck. The Absolute State universe. Yeah. The Absolute universe is cool, but again, it's very... It's meant to be an alternate take. It's not meant to just be like updated version of these things. Like, Batman's not rich. Wonder Woman was raised in hell because the gods killed all the Amazons right as she was born. She was raised by Cersei in hell. Superman knew his parents and came to Earth as a boy. And like Krypton was this fucking bureaucratic hellscape. Oh, Absolute Superman's my favorite. I know Absolute Batman's selling better, and they're all good, but Absolute Superman I fucking love. So this was Trump's economy change that maybe you get a job at Greenland. I don't know. I'm not big on the cold, but maybe. We'll see. I mean, I got laid off like a couple of days after Christmas, and trying to find a job right then at the holidays is fucking brutal because nobody's in the fucking office. Like, yeah, manufacturing and the blue collar jobs I work are still going, but like all the hiring people in the office are either on vacation or they're not answering the phone and they're watching fucking Law and Order on Hulu when they're supposed to be working. And I get it. You're in that fucking Christmas mode around then. You know what I mean? I get it. I'm not going to act like I haven't fucked off in similar ways. I'm not going to throw stones. It just makes it difficult, you know, to find something at that point. It's only really this week that I've been able to get a hold of some people and maybe wrangle up some interviews, you know? And that was even kind of made rough on Monday with the fucking snowstorm. But I'll be all right, guys. Yeah, maybe it's just God's way of telling me to finish my fucking book already. You know? Yeah, but on the plus side of that, God maybe should have given me some fucking executive function. or a hot dumb girlfriend to fill in that gap. Oh man, I got a New Year's meme on here still. I gotta take that out of the fucking rotation. I really should refresh some of these memes, but it's like I don't want to get rid of any of them because I like them. Well, I should probably go ahead and wrap this up. Folks, if you enjoy the content I put out, do consider supporting the show. I don't know why you would enjoy the content. It's dog shit. But if you do, there's no accounting for taste. You can hit that streamlabs.com/thebedglov. Send a super chat when I'm not live. I'll see it when I am live and go ahead and read it. You can send a PayPal donation. If you add a little message, I'll go ahead and read it on the air. You know, I won't use your name, just maybe your first name. Or if you don't want me to do that, I'll be like, hey, fuck it. Just some random guy sent it to me. He says, I hate job interviews. That's one of the biggest reasons why I don't think I'll ever quit my current job. I want to go. Yeah, oh yeah, interviews suck. Anyways, yeah, streamlabs.com/backlog, paypal.me/backlog, and I'll add my Amazon wish list down below. They just put out finally the big collection of Common America, and I've been actually meaning to read that. It's about as close to manga as you'll generally get me. But I put that on the wish list. If somebody wants to grab it for me, that'd be nice. All right, folks. That's about it for tonight. I want to thank you all for listening.